Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving headfirst into an epic intellectual rivalry, a real philosophical clash of the titans fighting for the very soul of German thought.
And let's be clear, this wasn't some friendly academic debate. Not at all. The source material tells us that Friedrich Nietzsche explicitly designed his masterpiece, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, to go head-to-head with Goethe's Faust and win. He wasn't just trying to add to the conversation, he was trying to blow it up and start a new one.
So, to really get what this is all about, we gotta meet the contenders. You've got the reigning champion of German literature in one corner and the super ambitious challenger in the other. Both of them are all about pushing the absolute limits of what it means to be human, but wow, do they go about it in radically different ways. First up, the established champ, Goethe's Faust. Now, here's a guy who's a brilliant scholar, he's learned everything you can learn from books, and he's found that it's, well, empty. So, in his desperation to feel the full human experience, he makes a pact with the devil, Mephistopheles, to taste literally everything life has to offer, from the highest highs to the most crushing lows. And stepping into the ring is Nietzsche's Zarathustra. He's no scholar stuck behind a desk, he's a prophet. After spending years alone on a mountain, he comes down with this totally radical message. For him, humanity as we know it isn't the final product, it's just a bridge you have to cross. He's here to announce the coming of the Übermensch, or the Overman, a new kind of being who throws out the old rulebook and creates their own meaning. Okay, so before we get to the main event, it's actually really important to see where these two giants find some common ground. You see, Nietzsche had a ton of respect for Goethe. He even called him a proto-Übermensch. And that respect creates a really fascinating shared foundation for both works. At their core, both Faust and Zarathustra are just deeply dissatisfied with the way things are. They absolutely refuse to accept the limits society puts on them. They also both champion the idea of striving, of constant, untiring, purposeful effort. It's that relentless drive that ultimately saves Faust, you know? And even on a technical level, they're similar. Both are these huge, poetic philosophical epics that mix grand ideas with gorgeous, almost musical language.
But that shared ground, that's really just the launch pad. Because from here, Nietzsche plans to rocket his philosophy way beyond Goethe's world. And this is where the real battle for the German soul kicks off.
It really all boils down to this. Where do they get their power? Faust, for all his amazing effort, needs help. He needs an outside, supernatural force, Mephistopheles, to break through his limits. Zarathustra's philosophy's the total opposite. It's all about radical self-reliance. He says you have to create your own values from the inside out. No help from gods or devils.
This chart right here just lays their totally opposing worldviews bare. Let's break it down. When it comes to morality, Faust's mistakes are seen as tragic flaws inside a moral system that already exists. Zarathustra, he wants to destroy that system and build a new one. And truth? Faust is on a quest for the truth, something objective you can find. For Zarathustra, truth is something you make, a tool for your own will. And the endgame? Faust wants spiritual redemption, a nice spot in the afterlife. Zarathustra's ideal is to love this life so much, the good and the bad, that you'd be willing to live it over and over again forever.
So, what's the final verdict here? How does this all wrap up? Well, for Nietzsche, this wasn't a contest between equals. Nope. For him, it was a question of historical succession.
Nietzsche looked at Faust and saw the absolute peak, the magnificent final chapter of the man of knowledge. Faust is brilliant. He strives. He pushes every single boundary. But he's still playing by the old rules. He's still trapped in that old framework of good versus evil, sin and redemption.
Zarathustra, on the other hand, was the prophet for a totally new age. He's for a world where those old moral signposts are gone. He doesn't just work outside the old system, he smashes it to pieces. He carves out a new path based entirely on self-creation and the will to power. That deep human drive to not just survive, but to grow and stamp your own meaning onto the world.
And that leaves us with this final, massive question. Faust is the ultimate striver, pushing the limits of the world as it is. But Zarathustra is the ultimate creator, who finds no cosmic order to believe in and decides to forge his own. So in our world today, which so often feels like we've lost those old certainties, which of these giants speaks more to you? The striver or the creator?